What's up, everybody? I'm Danny Wexelman, and this is Perfect Game Weekly presented by Rawlings. I am so excited because we have a softball takeover, the very first ever here on Perfect Game Weekly, and I want to tell you what's on tap. We are going to have a very special feature and conversation with the class of 2023 catcher, Abby Hay, who just committed to the University of Missouri to play softball at that program. We also talked to an umpire, Whitney Folven, who is rising up the ranks and has huge goals for herself in the sport of softball behind the plate as an umpire. We also hear from UCLA softball head coach Kelly Inouye-Perez, as well as professional softball player Gwen Svekis. It's going to be a great show, but as always, let's warm it up first. For the first time since 1995, the Atlanta Braves are world champions. An historic series in so many ways. Let's talk about a few of them. None of the first 116 World Series had featured a Game 1 leadoff home run. But on the very first swing of the 117th Fall Classic, Jorge Soler changed that. What a way to start a World Series. Soler would finish with 3 home runs in the series, from a deadline pickup to a World Series MVP. And how about Charlie Morton? The Braves' Game 1 starter took this Yuli Gurriel rocket off his right ankle in the second inning and stayed in the game. Guys, he threw 16 more pitches while pushing off a broken leg. Move over, Curt Schilling. How about Adam Duvall and his grand slam in the first inning of Game 5? Just the 9th first inning grand slam in postseason history. Yeah, that's over 1,700 games. And later in that same game, Perfect Game Hall of Famer Zack Greinke became the first pitcher since 1923 with a pinch hit in a World Series game, and the first American League pitcher ever. Speaking of pitchers, 2011 PG All-American Max Fried picked up the series-clinching win, 2008 PG All-American Tyler Matzik the hold, and 2007 preseason All-American Will Smith and Georgia native closed it out. And how about Freddie Freeman? After 12 spectacular seasons, the 2006 Perfect Game All-American finally got that ring. And he did it in style. He homered in Game 5, and he homered again in the clincher. He hit .318 for the series. You have to feel good for Freddie and his family. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. To the Arizona Fall League, Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar has been tearing it up in the desert. Through 12 games, the 2015 PG preseason All-American is hitting .354 with 5 homers, a .1270 OPS, and leads the league with 11 extra base hits. On Friday, he decided it was time to really make his mark. He went 4 for 5 and hit for the cycle. The best part about the cycle, his home run tied it in the 9th, which allowed him to get one more at bat in the 11th. And he didn't waste it. He completes the cycle with this bloop single. Congrats to a guy with one of the coolest names in all of baseball, Lars Nootbaar. To the commitment corner, the national champs have added another good one. On Monday, the number 54 player in the 2024 class, Braden Booth, announced his commitment to attend Mississippi State. The 14U Select Fest standout out of Madison, Alabama, was up to 89 on the mound this summer and flashed a right-handed bat that projects nicely at third base as well. Chris Lemonis and his staff down in Stark Vegas crossing all their fingers, hoping to get this kid to campus in a few years. And last but certainly not least, to Perfect Game Softball. After 7 years at USA Softball, Destiny Martinez is now the National Director of Softball Operations for Perfect Game. The former University of Oklahoma standout and 2013 national champion has been one of the driving forces of softball's growth over the last half-decade. We're so excited to have her as part of the Perfect Game family. Welcome to it, Destiny. I can't wait to see you out there. Speaking of Destiny's alma mater, OU softball made a huge announcement last week to the tune of $12 million, a gift they received to help them build a brand new softball facility. The construction on that is set to begin next year. A few weeks ago, I went to Kansas City for Perfect Game Softball's very first softball combine, as well as a fall softball tournament, and I met a young woman named Abby Hay. Her story was brought to my attention because she actually started playing baseball as a kid and transitioned to softball. I learned why this was so important and what the sport has given her and how she's giving back to it.
We're in Overland Park, Kansas right now for a Perfect Game softball tournament, and we're here to play softball, have fun, and grind. I play for Select Fast Pitch out of Kansas City, and it's just really special because they are always there for you. They have your back. My first baseball memory was just throwing the ball around with my dad and brother. My dad went to Mizzou, played baseball, and my brother played baseball, so I just had baseball around all my life. I had a great experience playing baseball, but softball, I feel like you get more tight with all your teammates. We're a very competitive family. We get each other, like where we're coming from and stuff, and that helps a lot. My mom's been big in my sports life. It's really important because softball is a really mental game, and if you get in your head, it's just downhill, and she helps me get back up and not give up and always push myself. I love softball because it's a very competitive and fun game, and the family I have right here is just amazing. I want people to learn that I am a strong player, good teammate, and I just like to have fun on the field and off the field.
When I saw Abby a few weeks ago, she hadn't committed to play softball anywhere, and I found out a few days after we left Kansas City that she committed to the University of Missouri. Congratulations, Abby, on that. Coming up, a legend, UCLA softball head coach Kelly Inouye-Perez, and a conversation with her. I cannot wait for that. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
There's a new king in Queens. Francisco Lindor is headed to New York.
New York is great. It's a place where you can be whatever you want to be.
Every day I challenge myself to break down barriers.
Seeing others live their passion, it makes me push harder in all that I'm doing.
Man, that dude Lindor is fearless.
I'm always trying to push myself further as an athlete.
My style is limitless, just like my city.
Confidence, passion, commitment, style. That's Queens for ya.
Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. I feel so lucky and excited to bring in our guest, UCLA softball head coach Kelly Inouye-Perez. Coach, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk some softball with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. I look forward to it.
I want to start with UCLA softball and the rich history of this program, because at this point, it's the gold standard of college softball. From 1975 to 2021, we have Sharon Backus to Sue Enquist to you. 12 national championships. That's 5 decades of domination. What's been the key to success, Coach?
Well, clearly, I think, the sign of success is really about the people that you bring in and the people that you surround yourself with. I was fortunate to play for both Sharon and for Sue, and I'm have been given the honor to be able to carry on the tradition, but it's all the Bruins that have committed to represent the program and, like we say, represent something that's bigger than all of us. So great pride, and probably what I'm most proud of is today in 2021, going into the 22 season, that we're still a program that is contending for a national title from the 70s to heading into this next year. We're still there vying for a championship, and that makes me proud, which means we're continuing to bring in the right people to represent the program.
And you're balancing a lot. You're not only coaching and working, you're also a parent and a mom and a spouse. Yeah. And your son, Mikey, played at UCLA, drafted by the Twins, went through Perfect Game Baseball, played at a myriad of different events. How cool was it watching him at the school that you're also coaching at? Oh,
so much fun. So much fun. I mean, I think his entire career, I'm just so proud. He has put so much work in. And to be able to make that decision, he had a lot of opportunities to go to different colleges, and for him to choose UCLA was so wonderful for him and obviously for me. To see him out there on the field performing and just doing what he loves to do was absolutely a dream come true. And then to be able to see him pursue his dream now, to be able to get drafted, it makes me proud. That's why it's like I don't get nervous, because he's doing great things. He's successful. It's not about getting ahead or being perfect. It's just playing the game. And you're right. He attended a lot of Perfect Game events, and I flew around the country to be able to attend them. And all those events of getting showcased for those small moments for, people to see and put it up on the site, and just continuing to build his brand, all was a big part of him being successful today. So I'm real fortunate once again to be surrounded by great events, great people to provide those opportunities for success. And I'm proud mom, 100%.
The events are incredible. The exposure is so impressive. And when you think about it, it's time that softball had that too. And I actually went to Kansas City a few weeks ago for the very first ever Perfect Game softball combine, an event where these young women are able to be scouted, are able to have their numbers up on Perfect Game softball with PG Tech. Can you speak to how important and how impactful that inaugural event is, but also just moving forward to have this every single year for these young women?
Yeah, I think anytime you give an athlete an opportunity to showcase, provides that opportunity. And, if I can't attend an event, I wasn't able to be there, I still have the opportunity to go and see the metrics, see some videos, see all those things. And I can say as a parent, that was great for me, for my son. And now getting into softball, I always said that. I was hopeful that the girls had the same opportunity that the boys have, because recruiting is timing and a little bit of luck for me as a college coach, and I cannot be everywhere. And I say that, I guarantee that I'm going to miss out on an athlete simply because I'm not going to be in the right place at the right time. For the athlete, it's outstanding to showcase and to be able to document that for us as coaches, to be able to have a resource to be able to go to so that we can do that real big search. That's built into the opportunity, a Perfect Game opportunity. So just go for it. And that's what we all love about sports is, you go for it and then you train a little bit more and you get after it again. And that's what drives greatness, is being able to want to pursue excellence. You never truly get to own it, but you're in a constant pursuit of it. So this is just another opportunity to pursue excellence.
Coach, I know that your players probably want to run through a brick wall after you give them a pep talk. That's what I want to do right now after our conversation. But I am always so grateful for your time and the knowledge that you have, and just the commitment and the dedication that you've given to this sport. So thank you so much.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. And good luck to everybody out there. That's for sure. Have a blast just playing the game.
When we return, we've seen the game now through the eyes of an amateur player, we've seen it through a legendary head coach, and when we come back, we'll see it through the eyes of an umpire. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
Baseball is competitive, often called a game of failure. Millions play, thousands compete. Only a handful reach the top. The odds don't matter to you. You have the goals, the drive, and a dream of playing at the next level. We've helped those that made it be seen. Now it's your turn. Let our experts train you the right way to stand out, win over the critics, prove you have what it takes to succeed, and provide a foundation of info to those that matter. Become tomorrow's athlete today with Perfect Game Development. Personalized training plus development driven by science and AI. Download the app and get started. Perfect Game Development. Your best step to the next level.
Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. At the Perfect Game softball combine in Kansas City a few weeks ago, I met a woman named Whitney Folven, and she stood out for a lot of different reasons. The biggest one, though, her passion. Her passion not for playing the sport, but for umpiring the sport. And she shared with us why this dream is so important to her and how she wants to continue to put softball on the map from behind the plate.
I played all the sports growing up, but softball was an immediate favorite. Let's do it. Let's talk. I started coaching immediately after college. I helped with my college team for a year. Didn't find the right fit for team or place for my competitive nature. So one of my players said, you know what, why don't you try umpiring? You know, I'll try it out because I love softball. I just want to be around the game. And I fell in love with it. I just get to spend all day on the softball diamond. I get to be around people who have, you know, similar passion about the game. And since then, I haven't looked back, and I'm starting my 9th year umpiring. Whew! It's my actual hope to work as a D1 official. So the next step is getting to that D3, D2 level and lower D1. And to do that, I just need more experience working 3-man so that when I go out on the field, it's automatic and not having to process it. Catch! My end goal, though, I mean, I want to be a Power 5 umpire. I want to be on that field and just, you know, be in the big games and have those big, tense moments and be the one that I get to make that call and know that I did it right and have, you know, my umpire crew behind me and just have that, you know, just have them there because that's, you know, we always live for that playing softball. Well, now I want to do that umpiring softball too, so. Perfect Game has been so amazing because not only do I have contacts here in Kansas City or wherever Perfect Game is working, I'm seeing pitchers who are eventually getting recruited by high D1 teams. So it's like the pre-D1 experience to come work for Perfect Game because these teams are great, these officials are great, and just the whole organization has been helpful for me improving my game and getting better. It's just been a really great realization that this is a great spot for me to be in for people trying to be involved in the sport, for females in the sport, and just always trying to get more people involved because we need people. We need umpires. We need people who have a passion as well. I mean, I appreciate all the women who came before me because I wouldn't be here without them. And thankfully, I get to, you know, I have contacts of women who were there before it was regular to see women officials on the field. So for all of them, I'm so thankful. It's a female sport, so we just need more. We're here, we want to be here, we want to be in part and control this game because we grew up playing it and our love for it shows whether we're coaching or umpiring. So let's get more people to help facilitate the game from our aspect as well as from coaching young girls because, you know, we're important too to young girls on the field and you know, I love walking on the field and the team goes, oh, we got a girl today. And you know, it's just a great feeling. But then it's also like, oh man, you guys don't have girl umpires? That's so sad. So I always go over and be like, hey, do you want to umpire with me? Because you should, it's really fun. So I'm hoping that it would become more popular, not to just be a coach and to help that side, but also to be an umpire too, because I want to umpire with girls all day long.
I personally cannot wait to see Whitney continue to rise through the ranks and umpire at the highest level of the sport. When we return, another voice that is so important to the sport of softball. We have Oregon All-American and current professional star in Athletes Unlimited, Gwen Svekis, joining us right here for a conversation. Don't go anywhere. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution, engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
Custom gear is important to me because it just represents who you are. Me as a kid, I remember I used to always look up at all the big leaguers at the time and see what they would wear. You couldn't get that stuff, in the stores. So now being able to customize basically everything I wear on the field, and it's one-on-one, I think that's just something special. I worked really hard to get here, and we get to do some swag and put your own flavor onto the field and show people, who you really are. Customs are one-on-one, just like me. G-form, made for the moment.
Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. I'm so excited to bring in our guest, Gwen Svekis, professional softball player. And Gwen, I know it's been a special journey for you. You put on the catcher's gear at 9 years old, and now you're a professional softball player. What have some of the highlights been along this journey?
Oh my gosh, I can't describe how special it is. I mean, if I think back on my 9-10-year-old self, I would have never guessed she would have been a pro. I would have never guessed she would have gone to college to play. Like, she just was a kid that needed an outlet to freaking hit balls and let her anger out, So knowing where I've come from where I was as just a sweaty 9-year-old kid on a field having fun with her friends and being able to look back on my journey to where I am now and where I plan to be, it's just absolutely special. And there's no other way to describe it than special.
I'm sure with the journey, there's been a lot of changes, not only for you, but in the sport. And just watching the sport evolve, I feel like right now it's at its highest and it's most entertaining and most exciting. What would you say are some of the biggest changes you've seen since 9 until right now today?
Yeah, I would say that the presence of a pro league is adapted and evolved, and it changed so much over the years. When I was in college, there was no shot I wanted to go pro. I mean, I was sitting in college, I was like, this is fun. I love my sport. Am I ready to hang it up? No, but there's not opportunity post-college. So, or there's not much opportunity post-college. So I think that's the biggest space I've seen evolve. I think watching the Women's College World Series from when I was in high school watching it, and then when I was in college participating in it, and then now seeing the upgrades of the stadiums and watching the games we played and seeing the viewership just skyrocket through the roof has been awesome as well. And I think that's the hugest testament to the growth of our game and how special our game is and how different it is. I think a lot of people sometimes just think of us as a female version of baseball, and I think that is just constantly getting debunked, and people are finally tapping into the beauty of softball. And I think watching that growth of the College World Series and seeing that leak into the evolution of the Pro League. Now we have Athletes Unlimited, and seeing how Athletes Unlimited has sort of revolutionized the way that our pros are being treated, and the access to the pros is really cool. And I'm excited to see where that grows to, and how the Women's College World Series can continue to grow and lend itself into the next generation of pros, and how that cycle will just grow and grow and grow until we've completely revolutionized softball in America.
I'm so glad you brought up Athletes Unlimited. 2020 was the inaugural season for softball. What makes it different from everything else that's ever been created when it comes to professional softball?
Athletes Unlimited is different in a million different ways, but I think the biggest things are we are the owners. So the PEC is this group of 5 athletes. We have them in all of our sports, and every major decision that gets decided on in the league runs past the PEC at some point. That's venues, uniforms, sponsorships, broadcasting deals, all of it gets run by the PEC before it gets approved, before it goes to any sort of contracting phase. And if we disagree with something, then there's always the ability to shift, which is really cool, because it's one thing to say your player run, it's another thing to listen to your players and make adjustments based on recommendations. So that's the main reason it's really different. I think other things, causes, there's no like corporate, these are the causes we represent. It's, hey, Gwen, what cause do you want to represent? What cause do you want to play for this season? And then based on my performance, the match of 50% gets donated to that cause. I think that's really extremely unique. I think obviously the point structure is really unique. You know, we have a fantasy style point system that lends itself into the traditional format of our sport, creating this beautiful marriage that is Athletes Unlimited.
I just have one more for you. I want you to maybe pass on some advice you'd give to young women who are now just coming up through college when there has been so many positive changes to the game.
Yeah, wow. That's a loaded question for me, because there's so much advice I wish I could give my senior in high school year old self going into college. Having this ability to dream again is so amazing. And I just hope, you know, that kid going to Missouri or the kid younger than her or the 9-year-old putting their gear on for the first time, I hope that they are starting to have dreams of being a pro rather than what I thought, which was I'm hanging it up after college.
Gwen, we can't thank you enough. That's amazing advice. And we want to wish you the best of luck in the future. Continue to be such a great voice for the sport and those who want to play it.
Thanks so much, you guys.
I want to give a huge thank you to Gwen Svekis, Coach Kelly Inouye-Perez, Abby Hay, Whitney Folven. Thank you guys so much for being part of this very special PG Weekly. If you missed anything, don't forget, head on over to perfectgame.tv. You can check out everything that has to do with amateur baseball and softball. Better yet, download our app. Take us with you wherever you go. That's going to do it for us. This has been PG Weekly, presented by Rawlings.